And again, here at University Hospital, there are 5 patients in critical condition. We'll continue to keep you updated.
Occupy protesters are behind me, waiting this out, chanting, "We are the 99%. Guys, I don't know if you're hearing this, but as you can see, they are putting handcuffs on many of the protesters right now.
Is Big Brother watching? It's cameras like this that business owners are setting up all around 5 Points to try to catch criminals in the act.
What we first know is that bond hearing for Holmes is set for tomorrow.
So guys, I'm sure if you've been out on the roads anywhere in Columbia today, you've seen the smoke. Take a look at this. This is the best shot you will see of the Casey fire going on right now.
The Wiley Real Estate Group then told the High Hills Water Company to cut the water off and told residents to stop sending their rent checks. It was here behind me where Columbia police say a crossing guard was helping students cross the street at Watkins Nance Elementary School. But it was here on the other side of the street where Columbia police say a young boy tried to cross but was struck by a landscaping vehicle. With thousands of people in the Midlands looking to fill up to fulfill their travel plans this summer, experts say the best case scenario for gas prices is that they stay the same. Here's where officials say it happened on Claudia Drive. From streaming in the streets to here in cyberspace, Twitter and Facebook users, of course, had something to say. I tried calling both of the Lieutenant Governor's offices and his media spokesperson to set up an interview. It was a concerned phone call that led Calhoun County Sheriff's deputies to this road, where they found 1,200 marijuana plants.
News 19's Nate Stewart sat down with the family tonight. The father here in this case saved one daughter.
That's right.
Tragically, just couldn't get to the other.
That's right, JR, and it's a true tragedy anytime anyone dies in a car accident, but the situation is made even worse when you're helpless to save the life of your loved one. And that's exactly what happened last Friday to a Saluda father. Tonight, his heartbreaking story of how he could save one daughter, but not the other.
It's the 4th game of the season.
Friday night, Saluda football, nothing better.
The drumbeat of the student band fills the stands as the Tigers take on Branchville.
It's just energy in the air.
Hundreds in the community turn out for the game and halftime festivities. School principal Harvey Livingston recalls this particular Friday.
Everywhere from the Spirit Week to decorating the school to our banners.
Just halftime playing with the band. It was fun.
14-year-old trumpet player Shayla Andrews was performing along with her 17-year-old sister Joy.
It was fun. It was homecoming. And my best friend, she won homecoming queen.
Members of the band flew banners honoring 2 of the school's students who had died in years past. As it happens, one fan snaps this photo of a rainbow over the band.
There was a ray of sunshine amongst the clouds shining down. It was really a perfect night up until we got the phone call.
My daddy, he gave us the car, told us to come straight home.
After the game, Shayla and her sister Joy packed up their band equipment and grabbed a bite to eat.
And I got a piece of pizza, and I don't remember anything after that.
We're waiting to come home, and we're just here waiting.
The girl's father, Ernest Andrews, says that a neighbor knocked on the door saying there'd been an accident just feet away from his home.
I just took off running because the car was already, it was in flames. And I was just I ran.
What Ernest hears next, he says he'll never forget.
I hear my baby crying, "Daddy." I hear her call her daddy. And I had to go in there and get her. All I seen was fire. And I know that my car and my babies was in there. Both of my babies was in there. And the only thing I know, I got to try to get them out.
With the car engulfed, Ernest dives through the smoke and flames and feels a hand.
And I started pulling her, and she slipped. So I just went on up in there and got my arms up under her and pulled her out. And then when I went back to get Joy to try to get her out, that's when the car exploded again.
When I woke up, I remember, I think I was asking for my sister, and they told me that she didn't make it. She was just the nicest person, and she had a crazy laugh. Like, her laugh could brighten up anybody's day, and she had the biggest smile. She was my best friend. She kept me out of trouble more than anything.
This wouldn't be the only time tragedy struck the Andrews family. In 2011, a 3rd sister died in a car accident in Florida.
Not this. It do not help no better the second time around. But I just did all I could to say just one, and I tried to do my best to say the other one. That's all you can do. And any father would do the same thing. Any father. went up in there and tried to get their baby.
My dad's second child, he got to bury. And I know it's hard on them and my mama for them to even have to bury a child. I know it's hard for them, and then the fact that they could have lost both of us.
I wish somebody could hit me and wake me up, but it's for real. It's for real.
Cut, ready, go.
On Monday, a somber band practice ends with students leaving messages for Joy, but it wouldn't be the only one.
Nobody will ever forget the smile that she always had.
Up in the sky, over practice, Joy's best friend Jamie says it was a sign.
Some people took pictures of it, and later we looked at it, and you could see her face in the clouds. We know it was her watching over us.
While the empty halls will be without Joy and her laughter, family and love is what the Andrews family say will get them through this tragedy.
I just do what I think would make her proud, make her happy with me.
As a family, school, and community all continue to mourn, they know eventually they will heal, not only because they have each other, but someone up above watching down.
We're going to do our best to make this thing work. And we'll be the best family that we can do and show our gratitude for Saluda County, because God is good all the time.
And Saluda High School has started selling these t-shirts that say "Enjoy Life" to serve as a reminder for Joy Andrews and the impact that she left. The school says all donations will go towards helping supplement the family's cost. On Saturday at 2 p.m., the family says that they will be holding funeral services at the high school at Saluda High.
You know, the father had a choice here, an impossible choice. He saves this one daughter. If he goes to the other side of the car first, I mean, you know, this is just a tragedy, and the father, you got to feel for the family tonight, doing all he can to save his children.
And what he told me, you know, was that if he had just showed up 2 minutes later, I mean, he wouldn't have had either of them. So.
Oh, it's just heartbreaking tonight, especially hearing from her sister, who you know is feeling the pain more than anybody.
Absolutely.
But the dad's a hero. No matter what he did, the dad's a hero.
Thoughts and prayers go out to that family and that entire community tonight.
Thank you, Nate.
But it appears like they're going to be out in the cold tonight.
Out in the cold, and Columbia Fire Department says that the owner, Kevin Burns, has been cited numerous times for building code violations. Tonight, residents say the final picture of where they may end up is starting to develop, and it doesn't look good.
We don't know what to do. We don't know what we're going to do tomorrow. We're not going to be a family no more. No, we're not going to be a family no more.
These kids aren't even going to have Christmas.
A picture may be worth 1,000 words.
We don't know where to go.
It's awfully scary.
But it only takes one for Paulina Rivera to describe the portrait of her fellow residents being evicted at the West Avenue apartments.
Terrible. I don't know how to explain it.
Residents learned earlier in the week the electrical wiring at their complex, built in 1946, was ruled unsafe by fire officials. Residents say while only one building has been evicted, soon the entire complex will be homeless.
We've been thrown out of the street, but by the 27th, we got to be out of here. Everybody.
They told us this morning that if we was here on the 27th, after they shut the electricity down at 6 p.m., that they'd get us for trespassing.
Residents evicted from Building J were given 2 nights in a motel, but after their stay runs out, they'll be back on the street.
We're going to be what? Like in Christmas, out in the street with the kids and everything? It's not fair. It's not fair. Not for me or for any one of them.
We should be enjoying this week and looking forward to it.
It's a snapshot of residents who consider themselves victims, who are now looking for only one thing.
We need help. We need a lot of help.
And tonight we've learned that Cooperative Ministries has reached out to those already evicted, offering an extra night's stay at their motel. Unfortunately, that will end tomorrow at 11 a.m. Darcy, Mayor Steve Benjamin, we've learned, is meeting with residents right now as we speak.
What is the mayor's plan for the residents?
That's to be seen. We'll have an update tonight at News 19 at 11. Not a lot of details coming out of that meeting, but we do have a crew on scene speaking with the mayor right now. A few minutes later, that's exactly how the judge ruled.
We, the jury, unanimously find the defendant guilty.
An emotionless Zena Jennings stood with her defense team as a court clerk read the verdict. Jennings' mother, Jocelyn, also stood by her daughter, coming to her defense before sentencing.
She is not well, and at this point, without her, Amir could be anywhere.
Jennings' mother tearfully admitted to the court that her daughter had been struggling with depression and had at one point tried to get her help.
I ask that you have mercy and give this young woman an opportunity to heal so that she can reveal to us where my grandson is.
Through a state prosecutor, Amir's father, Roderick Mitchell, asked the judge for justice and a maximum sentence for his missing son. Before that sentence would come, Circuit Judge Knox McMahon held up a picture of the 18-month-old.
One innocent person, one blameless person, one person that cannot fend for himself in the world we live in.
The jury found Jennings guilty of unlawful conduct to a child by placing Amir in unreasonable risk of harm affecting the child's life, safety, or physical and mental health.
Or that she willfully abandoned the child.
With that verdict in hand, Judge McMahon gave Jennings a maximum sentence with partial credit for time already served.
The defendant is committed to the State Department of Corrections for a term of 10 years.
Outside court, Jennings' mother and grandmother refused to speak to the media.
Do you have anything you'd like to say for your daughter?
No,
on
sir.
your daughter's behalf?
No, sir.
Nothing you'd like to say at all?
As Zena Jennings leaves court in handcuffs, a jury's job is finished. But a bigger question still remains, where is Amir Jennings?
And we contacted the Columbia Police Department this afternoon about the Amir Jennings investigation. Spokesperson Jennifer Timmons with the Columbia Police Department tells us, quote, "We still need information either from Zena Jennings or the public. If she told someone, we need to know that. Just because the trial is over doesn't mean our case is closed. It will remain open until we find Amir." And Amir Jennings is still listed on the FBI website as missing. In the Information Center, Nate Stewart, News 19 WLTX.
Andrea, I don't know if there's ever been a homecoming reunion quite like this one. It's just truly amazing. And whether you saw it in person or at the game or online, you can't help but be taken back by the Fail family reunion. With a sold-out stadium, nearly 86,000 screaming fans in attendance, the Fails were given a surprise they say they never saw coming.
It's hard, stressful, depressing.
Yeah, it's no fun being away from the family.
He's an admitted jokester, Gamecock football fanatic, and loving father of 2 children. While he spent the past 12 months in Korea, Sergeant First Class Scott Fail has had only one thing on his mind.
I knew from the day I left, I knew exactly what day I was coming home.
He told his wife Tammy before he left for duty that he entered them into a military family appreciation contest through the Columbia Metropolitan Airport in USO, who sponsors a military family at every home game at Williams-Brice Stadium.
Well, back and forth for probably about a month, I kept saying, we haven't heard anything, we must not have won, and I was getting upset. Knowing the whole time, he was just waiting.
I knew how good it was going to get him. I mean, I like playing jokes on my kids a lot.
Yes, he does.
I love goofing off with my kids. And but I really didn't expect it to do all this.
While overseas, Fail contacted the University of South Carolina, who made sure the Fail family would be on the field for a family reunion unlike any other.
So we got there, they escorted us in, did us a whole tour of the stadium. That's the first time I've ever been to a Carolina Gamecock football game. And they were going to do the presentation, and that was it. So.
But
then he came on the screen.
Sacrifice your friends that you grew up with.
Crying. Very upset that he was not there, and that I was touched and completely moved by what he said, but my whole thought was, he's not here. He's not here.
At least not yet. Fail had flown in Friday night before the game, stayed in a hotel not to tip off anyone, and was hiding out in a coach's office before the game until in front of 85,000 screaming fans, this happened.
Once I saw him, I didn't hear anything else. That was it. I didn't hear, it could have been completely silent, or it could have been louder than what it was, and I never would have heard it. It was like everything else was just drowned out.
I wanted to run and be the first one, but that definitely didn't happen with some people trying to trip me up.
I don't know how my mom outran me.
That's all I can tell you.
You love your family. I mean, that's a given, and that's something you say every day. But to tell them how much, or to show them, or to tell them how much you appreciate them, that's a different story.
While the Fail family is reunited, their thoughts are with other military families who may not be as lucky as them to have their soldier back home.
This was done for us, but it's not just for us. It's for all of them out there, even the ones that are still gone. You know, it gives them hope.
It's a homecoming surprise that's garnered the attention of a nation, but more importantly, the attention of a family who's been without their dad for more than a year.
And that is my husband. Yeah, that's my husband. I'll see you real soon.
And indeed they did. Sergeant First Class Fail tells me he does not have any orders to be deployed again at this time, but he says he's going to relax, take his son Cameron to his football games, and spend as much time as he can with his family. Thank you, sir, for your service, and welcome back home.
Oh my goodness, I love it. And I bet that's the fastest that the mom has ever run in her life.
And that's what Cameron was saying, you know. It's like, how did my mom beat me running to my dad?
And I love it that she said that it's because we heard the crowd screaming like crazy, but she said after she saw him, she didn't hear a thing.
Right,
like it's like the 85,000 people. How many was it?
Yeah, 86,000.
86,000
out crowd.
It was just the two of them in that moment. Oh, it's so beautiful.
Sitting there with them earlier this afternoon, I was saying, I think you're going to start a trend in college football. I mean, I could just see this taking off. I mean, every football game, why not? I mean, just completely rip it off. It's great. I think it's fantastic.
I love it. Thank you so much, Nate.
Ready? I saw hundreds and hundreds of military people paying appropriate tribute to a real, genuine American hero.
Friends, family, and more than 1,300 soldiers welcome one of their own to Fort Jackson one final time.
If he were here, I'd say, John, welcome. I'm always glad to see you.
Those who knew Master Sergeant John Baker say it's because of men like him that we live in a country that's free.
Ready?
Colonel Meyerowitz and Major General Rogers knew him as a man they could count on.
Personally, it was an unbelievable opportunity to sort of say farewell to somebody who's really meant an awful lot to me.
Fort Jackson and its commander have done a superior job of honoring Sergeant Baker and what he stands for.
Draped in freedom, Baker's procession passes by the likes of soldiers who may or may not have known him, but do know what he stood for.
South Carolina, Columbia has an awful lot to be proud of. The fact they had 2 Medal of Honor recipients who've recently passed away that lived in their midst.
So as we welcome the man who served for honor, those looking on know that saying goodbye doesn't mean forgetting.
It's an indication of the pride that all Americans have in what he did to defend this country.
Nate Stewart, News 19, WLTX.
Well, Andrea, as you can imagine, many are still in a state of disbelief. Everyone I spoke to say his disappearance is very uncharacteristic of his personality. Tonight, hundreds lit candles in hopes of shedding light on his disappearance.
It's a major shock to all of us.
I wouldn't have ever guessed we'd be doing anything like this.
The love of many burns bright outside the State House steps.
Whatever his circumstances at this moment, we pray he feels your loving care and the warm embrace of your everlasting arms.
It's a nightmare, but we have to just pray.
Daughter-in-law Lauren Sponseller says the number of people who came to show support are a testament to the family man they call Tom.
Everyone wanted to do something, and we just felt that this was the best way to relay everyone's thoughts and prayers.
I have racked my brain for scenarios and things, and I come up with nothing.
Best friend and neighbor Mike Johnson shares stories of taking trips with Sponseller.
He gets up early, I get up early, we drink coffee and talk, and I just want him home so we can enjoy times together again.
Tom will soon return to this community to resume his place as husband, father, colleague, and friend.
As the sun sets on the State House, hope rises, a family relying on the love of a community to guide them back to the one they've lost.
I'd love for it to shed some light, but right now we're just wanting to get together to pray and to just share our thoughts and feelings on how much he means to us.
Tonight, Columbia police are still following several leads in Sponseller's disappearance.